Welcome into RedHawk Softball Weekly. We were off last week with RedHawk Radio at the MAC Basketball Championships, but we are back. Luke Poley with head coach of the Miami RedHawks, Mandy Gardner-Colegate. And coach, since we've last talked, your team's hit a bit of a stride. You've now won 7 of your last 9, including a strong performance at the Miami tournament and to open up MAC play against Kent State last weekend. How have things been going for your team?
Yeah, I feel like we are kind of playing on all facets, right? We're playing defense, we're pitching really well, and we're obviously hitting. So it's been really fun to kind of put all the game part of the games together, and obviously seeing success and kind of hitting our stride at the right time in season.
Your first 3 shutout wins of the season for your team over this span. They featured really your entire staff over the course of the 3 of them as well. What can you say about how you've pitched it much more consistently over the stretch? I know the competition has a part to play in that, but as your players are kind of settling in at this point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, we faced a lot of really, really great hitters, all Americans, pretty much all preseason. And so I think, even though they struggled a little bit through that, that also gave them some confidence. Like, hey, I got all Americans out, I got all conference players out, I got these big hitters out. And so, when they do face more of a mid-major, they're a little bit more confident. I think that definitely showed. Our bullpens have been tailored on just getting ahead, commanding the zone, having confidence in ourselves, and I really feel like that kind of translated on the field, which was really nice to see.
For Kent State last week, the Kent State series, you guys win 3 games in 2 days, and you start out obviously with a little bit more pitching, and then you get to that third game and have to win the game with the bats a little bit more. But for a team that features so many players that have never played in the MAC before, what was kind of your impression of what they thought after the first weekend of conference?
Yeah, I mean, I think we came out again firing on all cylinders, and sweeps are hard. Beating a team 3 times, no matter who it is really tough. And you typically see game threes scores a little bit elevated because you kind of there's nothing else right to be shown. And so they knew our pitchers, we knew their pitchers, and we just outslugged them basically, which was really fun. And I definitely expect that in a lot more series this year.
Going back to that Stonehill game, you guys threw 3 pitchers in that game in that midweek and kind of got to rotate things around a little bit and what was ultimately a shutout win. Matty Reeves got the win in that game for you guys, but how nice was it to just get all 3 of your pitchers into a game like that?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're kind of using these midweeks for, is to get them some innings, get them some work. They get to face batters that aren't our own before the weekend. And so anytime we can get all 3 pitchers in, and then obviously to have a combined shutout like that is really tremendous. Stonehill is scrappy. They haven't been shut out, I don't think, too many times. And so I was just really proud of all of them just going in and getting the job done when their number was called in their respected innings. But yeah, I think that definitely helped us, propel into Kent State and them having success there as well.
You've got 3 qualified bats and now 4 total that are have over 1,000 in terms of the OPS on the year. It feels like, as you said, you're slugging the ball a little bit more, and as you start to play more home games, that's a ballpark that this program has hit a lot of home runs in the past few years, right? But what do you think has just led to that increase in power you're seeing out of your bats?
Yeah, again, I mean, preseason, we faced some really tremendous pitchers, high strikeout pitchers. And so I think, I think just seeing, pitchers that might make a little bit more mistakes, and come into the zone a little bit more. We've just taken advantage of that. But it's just so fun because you just never know 1 through 9 who's going to hit a home run. It's not always, one of our seniors or Jenna. Kaylee O has hit a few home runs, Ella Carter, Maddie Patton. Over the last couple weeks, we've had some firsts. Erin Pinner had her first home run. McKenna Campbell had her first home run. So there's still some firsts kind of being shown, but it's so fun that like we pass the bat, you never know who's going to hit a home run, and I think as a opposing team that's really hard to pitch to.
Yeah, Maddie Patton had her second home run last night. You've had a couple players between her and Pinter and Kruger that have kind of bounced in and out of the lineup a little bit, but have provided you with some of that power when you've turned there. And yesterday for you guys in the game against Marshall. Again, a midweek game, a little more high scoring, right? But in the first game of a back-to-back before a conference weekend looming in just a few days, what did you think of the game yesterday?
Yeah, I think we had some really good moments. I also think we had some really good growing moments. Shelby, we gave her the start, just her second start on the year. Her first start was against South Carolina, so that was a little bit tough. But we wanted to see what that looked like. Giving her the start, and she came out great in the first inning, and then kind of made some mistakes, but. Again, growing moments, and Leia came in and threw some good innings as well. And then obviously Maddie Reeves came in and just shut the door on them, gave us a chance to kind of climb back into the game and had a chance there to win it there in the seventh. But like I said, midweeks are just so great because our pitchers are getting to face hitters that aren't ours before the weekend, before conference, and then our hitters are able to see the pitchers that aren't ours as well. So it'd be a great game again today against Dayton. They're a really quality club. Played them in the fall, so we kind of know what they have. Played them last year in regionals, so our returners know a little bit about them as well. But they're well coached. They play hard. So I'm excited because I think it's going to be a really good game.
Looking at that Dayton game coming up this afternoon, it is a reschedule from earlier on in the season due to weather, which has kind of built a mini homestand that lasts just 1 week, but you play 5 games on your home field over the span of just a few days. But uh, were you doing any scouting on that Dayton team maybe beforehand a couple weeks ago? And is that carrying over to now?
Yeah, my scout was done for that day. I kind of went back and kind of not necessarily redid it completely from a pitching standpoint, but kind of seeing who's hot. Obviously there are people go through trends, whether they're hot or cold from an at-bat standpoint. So just kind of seeing who's hot right now, what they're doing. They're coming off of a pretty strong week as well, so that's always fun when they're playing good ball. And then from a hitting standpoint, we saw their pitchers in the fall, so that's kind of like the best scout that we can get. But they're throwing the ball really well. Coach Liv did their scout on their pitchers, and so we definitely feel like we're ready. Yeah, it was kind of like a pause a pause scout, and then just kind of reviewing it. But yeah, we just want to go out and compete and play our game. So.
You've got a Northern Illinois team coming up this weekend at home, first home conference series for you guys, and first time really being home for a series as opposed to the tournament environment that you guys played in earlier, right? And it's against an NIU team that struggled in non-conference play, but then opened up MAC play with a series win against Central Michigan last week. So I don't know if the scouts done a few days out with how busy you guys have been, but what are your thoughts on the Huskies?
Yeah, they're really well coached. Coach Gleason is a really tremendous coach. She's in her first year there, and she's going to get them playing hard and playing right. So, just no matter who we're playing, going out and playing our game, playing tough, and just focusing on our game plan, will ultimately make us successful. But they're scrappy. I don't think their record necessarily dictates the type of team that they are, and how well they're coached. So, we just have to can't let anybody just come in to our home turf and take advantage of us. So we want to make sure that we're ready. And like I said, staying within our process and, focusing on what we can control.
Miami plays later this afternoon in a midweek game against Dayton. 2 o'clock start coming up here as we record this on Wednesday. Team will be at home for their first home conference series number 2 on the season. Friday, Saturday set starting at 3 on Friday and a doubleheader starting at 1 on Saturday. Coach, thanks for the time. Always appreciate it.
Thanks so much.